teaspoon in Australia is 5 grams. So this is an example of how you really have to fine tune what the owner gives you and ask questions. Now we're going to just have a look at some case studies. Now this is an interesting one. This is a horse that has anhydrosis. It's an older horse. It's got PPID, insulin resistance. The owner is very happy with the weight. Body condition 5 out of 9. And if you look at it, it looks like it's doing okay. If we have a look at the diet, that's a pretty nice looking diet. You've got some lupins, you've got protein, you've got vitamin E and magnesium. Magnesium's important down the pathway for insulin sensitivity. It's on a very high intake of oxalate prices. So when we looked at the analysis, this is what I found. And with a horse with anhydrosis, you certainly want a high oil intake. And also oil will affect your insulin levels. So we'd like to see oil at around 125, 250, and for horses that are in hard work up to 500 mils a day. Linseed is a nice one for the omega-3 levels. But if you have a look too, the owner said it was getting 15 grams of salt, which is 1 teaspoon. Well, a teaspoon in Australia is 5 grams. So this is an example of how you really have to fine tune what the owner gives you and ask questions. Down the bottom, we can see the calcium to oxalate ratio is 0.17. A level below 0.5 is considered unsafe. And also looking at the mineral ratios, the iron to copper to zinc to manganese are the ones that's important. Should be less than 10 iron to 1 copper to 3 or 4 zinc and 3 or 4 manganese. This diet's got 28 to 1 to 6 to 36. Now, we don't know a whole lot about mineral interactions and what exactly is going on, but there's no reason not to stick to recommended levels. So now this diet was analysed by a feed company, by a person with an undergraduate degree in agriculture science. Now their report came back that the horse was only getting 50% of the energy it needs. Now if a horse has got a body condition of 5 out of 9 and it looks good, it's unlikely to be getting only half the energy it needs. I don't know how they arrived at that. They also commented there's no significant sources of B12 deficiencies never been reported, and horses produce their own. They also said the body weight, the roughage, which should be a minimum of 1% roughage, they weren't sure if that was being met, but the horse has got access to pasture 24 hours a day. So I think probably the energy and roughage are well covered. They also commented that they should use lucerne because it's lower in sugar, starch and non-structural carbohydrates than meadow and grass hay. That's incorrect. They're all pretty similar. Now, this was a beauty. They said that the meadow grass and teff hay would boost the protein intake. But if you go back to those amino acids, the amino acid profile is so poor that it's not going to be usable protein because there's not enough of the essential amino acids. But the real doozy was that they said to monitor that if the horse was getting too much protein from the meadow grass or teff, would increase adhesive digestion. That's correct. But they should monitor the body temperature to make sure that the protein intake wasn't affecting body temperature. Now, they also made no comment on the essential amino acid profile, no comment on the calcium to oxalate ratio, but it was a very friendly and chatty report. So if you're relying on the information from feed companies, if they're not veterinarians, I'm not sure they're going to go into the details that we would do.